Hi there. This is a video about fractions, decimals, and percents. Now, the reason why we're talking about all three of these concepts in the same video is because they all mean the same thing, okay? They're just different representations of each other. A fraction, a decimal, and a percent can be considered as part of a whole, okay? So what I want to do is talk about how we go from fraction notation to write it as decimal notation, then to percent notation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1/4, okay? Now, this means that I have 1 out of 4 parts, all right? If you consider like a pie or a pizza, all right, the circle represents a whole. But if I divide that into 4 parts, I'm just talking about one of those 4 parts, okay? That's the idea, all right? And so if I wanted to take the fraction and turn it into a decimal, I simply divide 1 by 4, all right? And as a decimal, when we do that division, we get 0.25, okay? So this is my fraction. All right, this is my decimal. And what I want to know is how do we express this value, 0.25? Currently, this is out of 1, if we want to write that as a ratio. But when we think about a percent, all right, it's a ratio that's out of 100, okay? So one of the things that we would do to 0.25 is we would take this number and we would multiply it by 100. And what that's going to do, if I have 0.25 and if we multiply it by 100, we are simply just moving the decimal place to the right 2 units. And we get 25% out of that. All right, so 25%, a percentage is out of 100. All right, and we don't usually write it out of 100, but that's the concept. And so we just have 25%. All right, let's look at another example where the numbers are not so nice. So let's say you've got, say, 2 out of 7. All right, so 2/7. And if we turn that into a decimal, because this one's a little bit harder to do, 2 divided by 7 comes out as a really weird decimal, and we're going to get 0.28571442. All right, these are the only numbers that are going to pop up on your calculator. Now, again, this is your fraction, okay? This is your decimal, okay? And we want to turn this into a percent. All right, so what we'd want to do, again, we can multiply this number, by 100. That's a way to do this. Or you could simply just move your decimal place to the right 2 spots. So as a percent, we would write this as 28.571442%. All right, and we'd probably want to, usually you round this to the nearest tenth. So from here, we get that, here, if we round this to the nearest tenth, so round to the nearest tenth, all right, that's our first decimal place. All right, we look at our number to the right, since that number is above 5, all right, we are going to increase our value in the tenths by 1, so we're going to get a value of 28.6%, all right. And that's the idea, and that's what we want to look at. So hopefully this all makes sense. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.